For years, Chinese defense planners believed they had discovered the perfect way to neutralize American military power, not with superior technology, but with arithmetic. They looked at the skies and saw an equation the United States could never balance. A $2,000 drone versus a $3 million interceptor. One buzzing piece of plastic against one of the most sophisticated missiles ever built. Every exchange favored the attacker. Every trigger pull bled the defender. The strategy was brutally simple. Flood the air with cheap drones, knowing full well that the United States would be forced to respond with weapons that cost more than the targets themselves. It did not matter if a few drones were lost. The goal was not elegance or precision. The goal was saturation. Numbers, volume, overwhelm the defenses until the cost itself became the weapon. At first, lasers looked like the answer. They promised a clean solution, beams of light instead of explosive interceptors, pennies of electricity instead of millions of dollars in hardware. But when engineers ran the numbers, the optimism collapsed. Physics does not bend to budgets. Every laser weapon, no matter how advanced, is limited by something called dwell time. That is the number of seconds the beam must remain locked on a target to do real damage. Melt the plastic, burn through the casing, fry the electronics. In controlled tests, that time averaged about 5 seconds per drone. 5 seconds does not sound like much until the sky fills up. Picture the attack, a horizon suddenly alive with motion. 100 drones appear at once, fanning out, weaving, closing the distance. The laser turret slews to its first target. 5 seconds. The drone falls. The second target is acquired. Another 5 seconds. The clock keeps ticking. After 1 minute, only 12 drones are gone. 88 are still coming. The laser is working perfectly. The tracking is flawless. The beam never misses. But the queue grows faster than the system can burn it down. By the time the 20th drone drops, the rest of the swarm is already inside the perimeter. Payloads release, signals jam, chaos spreads. Add a second laser, and honestly, the math barely changes. 2 targets at a time instead of 1. The swarm simply grows larger. Fog, smoke, dust, or battlefield debris scatter the beam and stretch dwell time even further. A plastic quadcopter might fall in under 5 seconds. A metal-bodied drone can take twice as long. The attackers do not care. They expect losses. They plan for them. All they need is a handful to get through. This scenario repeats in every simulation. The laser tracks. The seconds drain away. The base is overwhelmed, not because the technology fails, but because time itself runs out. When the number of incoming drones exceeds the number of seconds available to stop them, defense collapses. It is not a failure of courage or skill. It is a failure of physics. Meanwhile, the missile option is even worse. The United States has spent decades perfecting air and missile defense. Patriot batteries, layered sensors, radar networks, and interceptors capable of destroying aircraft and ballistic missiles. But each shot comes with a staggering price tag. A single Patriot missile costs upward of $3 million. Now compare the ledgers. So, one drone, that's about $2,000. And, well, one interceptor? That comes in at $3 million. That gives us a cost ratio of roughly 1,500 to 1. Every cheap drone, honestly, forces a tough decision. Spend millions to destroy it, or gamble that it might miss its target. Either choice? Yeah, it's costly. Every successful intercept just drains the treasury. But every missed drone, well, that threatens lives, equipment, and infrastructure. The balance sheet, it bleeds red ink either way. The attacker controls the tempo. Factories in Shenzhen can churn out crates of quadcopters faster than any missile plant can hope to match. These are not boutique military systems. They are mass-produced by civilian tech companies, driven by consumer demand, then quietly funneled into military stockpiles. The arsenal grows by the hour, not the year. Each new drone is a fresh headache. Each launch forces the defender to burn resources at an unsustainable rate. Even when the intercept is perfect, the exchange is absurd. A multi-million-dollar missile vaporizes a few pounds of plastic, silicon, and lithium batteries. The cost of that single shot could fund a dozen more attacking drones. No matter how advanced the interceptor, it cannot escape the arithmetic. Every launch is a small victory for the accountant in Beijing. The economics are so skewed that even a flawless defense becomes a losing proposition over time. The longer the fight drags on, the more the defender is pushed into an impossible corner. Spend millions per minute, or watch the sky fill with hostile machines. This is the real trap. A war of attrition fought on spreadsheets instead of battle maps, where the side with the cheapest hardware holds the advantage. It's a contest, not of firepower, but of financial endurance. And for a long time, it seemed like there was no way out. But that is not how this story ends. Because, the answer did not arrive as a new missile, or a more powerful laser, or even a gleaming piece of futuristic hardware. It arrived quietly, tucked away inside a forgotten shipping container, just sitting out there in the desert. The system is called Thor, and honestly, it does not look like a weapon at all. There is no armored turret, no dramatic silhouette, no sense of menace whatsoever. Just a standard 20-foot shipping container, the same kind you'd see stacked on cargo ships or parked behind grocery stores. And, well, this was not an accident. The engineers at the Air Force Research Laboratory actually designed it that way on purpose. Thor was meant to disappear. Inside the container is a rack of electronics. On top sits a dish antenna. The hardware is plain because, well, spectacle is irrelevant. Thor is not about intimidation. It's about logistics, mobility, and speed. Getting Thor to the battlefield does not require a convoy or a crane. It fits cleanly inside a C-130 Hercules transport aircraft. 2 operators can unload it and position it without any special equipment. Once on the ground, there's no maze of cables, no exotic fuel, no army of engineers. You just plug it into a wall outlet or a diesel generator, and honestly, it comes alive. The full setup takes about 3 hours. No lengthy calibration. No waiting for a specialist to fly in from headquarters. Just roll it into place, power it up, and the base gains a new layer of protection. This flexibility is not a luxury, it is essential. Traditional missile defenses require months of construction and leave a permanent footprint. Thor can move with the fight. It can be redeployed as threats shift. 1 week guarding an airfield, the next protecting a forward operating base. The system is designed for the real world, where tomorrow's attack may come from a direction no one predicted. This is the point where the math finally flips. Thor does not fight drones one at a time. It does not wait 5 seconds per target. It does not care how many drones are in the sky. It does not track patiently or queue engagements. When activated, it affects the entire swarm at once, silently, instantly, for a cost measured in pocket change instead of millions. The forgotten shipping container, it really rewrote the economics of war. The Pentagon understood what this meant immediately. The countdown trap was broken. The defender was no longer forced to play an unwinnable game of seconds and dollars. The attacker could no longer assume that numbers alone guaranteed victory. China is not laughing anymore. The engineers at the Air Force Research Laboratory know the enemy is not waiting for us to catch up. That is why Thor was never designed to impress. It was designed to end the argument, not with spectacle, but with silence.